Y'all, baby Hollywood is shaking the table right now, and guess who's at the center of the storm? None other than Kanye West. And this time he's not holding anything back in a jaw-dropping twist that's got the entire industry clutching their pearls. He just exposed Kris Jenner allegedly helping Diddy pay off his witnesses behind the scenes. But y'all, it gets even messier. Kanye is claiming that Diddy didn't just stop at writing checks for silence. He allegedly footed the bill for Kris Jenner's new face, a little nip, a little tuck, and a whole lot of hush money. According to Ye, Kris wasn't just in the room, she was playing chess while the rest of us was playing checkers. Is the Kardashian matriarch really mixed up in Diddy's dirty dealings, or did she trade secrets for surgery? And is Kanye finally peeling back the curtain on Hollywood's most toxic alliances? Y'all, the rabbit hole runs deep, deep, and we're about to go all the way, and let's get into this shocking tea and talk about it, because once you hear what Kanye has to say, there's no going back. If there's one thing about Mr. Kanye, and what he's going to do is keep his foot firmly on the Kardashians. Next, he's been messy as F since his divorce from Kim, and we can't even count how many times he's been spilling some very nasty secrets about the family. And now he's out here claiming that his former mother-in-law, Kris Jenner, was allegedly one of the many people helping Diddy bribe his witnesses and victims, convincing them to keep their mouths shut. Now, I'm not going to lie, this Kris Jenner part is pretty shocking, but to be fair, there have been rumors of Diddy allegedly silencing witnesses, so he's been accused of a whole lot of things, including bribery and even as far as straight-up intimidation. So people he used to work with closely with Diddy, including former bodyguards, personal assistants, and various industry insiders, have been quietly talking for years about how he supposedly had a system in place to protect himself from scandal. These insiders, y'all, they claim that he didn't just rely on legal teams or reputation management. Instead, they suggest he had his own way of dealing with things, and these situations got messy. But like I said, that included everything from locking people into airtight non-disclosure agreements to simply paying them off with large sums of money to keep them silent. For example, y'all remember that footage of Diddy putting his hands on cash at the Continental Hotel, right? Well, turns out that he allegedly paid a bribe to get the footage back from the hotel. He thought it was the only copy. But karma psych, there was definitely more, but that wasn't the only bribe that he paid, because according to reports, while on duty as a security guard at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles in 2016, Flores said he was called to assist a woman in distress, and upon arrival, discovered Vento and Combimes, who was caught on security camera physically hurting his then-girlfriend, as seen in the video submitted in the evidence shown in court. Flores testified that Combimes told him that pair were arguing, and that Vento tried to walk away with her phone, but Combimes told her she wasn't going to leave. According to NBC News, the former guard also described putting his body in the doorway for a few minutes until Vento left the room. When the security guard began to leave, Combimes allegedly offered him what Flores described as a bribe with a 3-word command. I started to leave, and Combimes called for me, Flores said. While in the witness stand, he had a sack of money, and he threw it at me and said, "Don't tell anyone." But that's not all, because a former bodyguard reportedly told an independent journalist that there was what he described as a slush fund. According to him, this was a stash of cash set aside specifically to deal with potential blow-ups before they could go public. In some cases, that meant flying accusers out of the country and putting them up somewhere quiet and far away. In other situations, might involve paying for a luxury apartment, offering a monthly stipend, or just handing someone a thick envelope full of cash and a contract to make sure that they kept their mouth shut. But some sources say it didn't stop at money. Several people have claimed that Diddy would go as far as having individuals followed, watched, or even intimidated if he thought they might become a problem. One woman said she received a phone call from someone she didn't know, but the caller somehow knew private and specific details about her daughter. She took it as a threat and a warning to stop talking and keep everything to herself, and this pattern being described is enough to make people raise their eyebrows. The constant theme of sudden silence, last-minute settlements, and vanishing accusers has led many people to believe that something more calculated may be going on behind the scenes, and that Diddy wasn't alone in intimidating witnesses. I mean, think about it, so many witnesses, and he is only one man, so it's not surprising that he might have had people do his dirty work. And according to Kanye, Kris Jenner was allegedly one of those people. And if you're wondering why on earth Kris would do something like that, well, it all comes down to cold hard cash. According to Kanye, Diddy allegedly keeps Kris's pocket fat, and allegedly she gets a cut whenever she helps him do his dirty work. But Kanye took it a step further, claiming that Diddy allegedly paid for Kris's new face. Y'all know how Kris has been looking about 20 years younger, And people have been saying that she looks like Kendall. Well, Kanye is now saying that Diddy allegedly wrote the paycheck for that Kris Jenner's face has been a hot topic lately, and not just because she's looking more refreshed than ever. And like I said, Kanye is claiming that Diddy paid for her most recent round of plastic surgery. It sounds wild, but social media slew and gossip pages have been connecting some suspicious dots. According to whisperers, Kris didn't just get a little maintenance done. She allegedly got a full overhaul on Diddy's tech with federal investigations, lawsuits, and years of rumors catching up to him. Did's been under serious pressure. And who better than Kris Jenner to help manage a scandal? She's practically built an empire off of turning bad press into big money, and fans are pointing out that Kris disappeared from the public eye for a little bit only to return looking snatched tight and 10 years younger. The timing just happened to line up with the beginning of Diddy's trial, which only added fuel to the fire. Some even believe that her involvement with Diddy may go deeper than PR, which kind of confirms what Kanye is saying. And judging by how good Kris looks, y'all know that if true Diddy would have had to drop a major bag on her, y'all, I just know that the Kardashians are sick and tired of Kanye spilling their tea. Y'all remember when he was accusing Kim of trying to put him under a conservatorship by getting him locked up, right? He said, "Everybody knows the movie Get Out is about me. Kim tried to bring a doctor to lock me up with a doctor. They tried to fly in with two doctors to get a divorce since Kim met with Meek at the Wald for prison reform. I got 200 more to go. This my last tweet of the night. Kris John Kim was trying to fly to Wyoming with a doctor to lock me up on the movie Get Out because I cried about saving my daughter's life yesterday." Y'all, he has been going on and on for years, which is how we landed in this drama with him, Kris and Diddy. And get this, it's not the first time the Kardashians have been tied to Diddy, for example. You know that there's been rumors about how Kris's church is just a front for some shady activities, right? Well, it looks like these shady activities are tied straight to Diddy, for example. You know that there have been rumors about how Kris's church is just a front for some shady activities, right? Well, it looks like those shady activities are tied straight to Diddy. It kind of seems like their entire reason that she set up the church in the first place was a cover for Diddy. The church is called the California Community Church, and at first we thought the church was solely for tax evasion, but the church was Kris Jenner's idea back in 2009. And she decided to create her own church and got it officially registered as a non-profit organization. It's kind of wild when you think about it, though. Members are expected to pay $1,000 every single month on top of giving 10% of their yearly income as donations. And of course, who's leading the pack in making those donations? Of course, it's the Kardashians themselves, who are the front and center setting the example. But here's the part that makes the whole thing sus, that 10% donation isn't just a simple act of faith. It works out to a hefty tax deduction. And when you factor in that Kim claims she's making around $80 million a year, you're talking about a seriously large write-off every single year. It's a smart move, no doubt, but it definitely blurs the lines between generosity and business savvy. And that 10% donation for Kim, that's a whopping $8 million slashed off her taxes every year. But wait, because there's more. Kris Jenner isn't just some figurehead here. She's the one running the whole church operation. So when the Kardashian sisters hand over their 10%, it's basically Kris's bank account that's getting fat. And here's where it gets even messier. Kris could easily find ways to funnel that cash right back to her daughters. Meanwhile, they're barely giving up anything while still cashing in on huge tax benefits. It's like they're playing the system on expert mode. Keep this church situation in the back of your mind too, because we're definitely going to circle back to that. Despite all this money, there are rumors that Kris is secretly broke. She has a very long list of debt, and according to The Sun, she first of all took out a loan for $7.25 million in August 2018, but the following month there was a superseded by a new agreement for a whopping $40 million loan through the financial company Crosswind Venture Fund. Then in January 2019, she borrowed $5.2 million and $5.25 million in June of that year. According to property records, things got even more interesting when TikTok detective BB, the songwriter, started digging into rumors about Kim and Diddy's possible roles in Britney Spears' conservatorship drama. And hold on to your hats, because word in the streets is that Kim might have even tried to pull a similar stunt with Kanye. It might sound like some wild Hollywood plot, but once you start piecing everything together, it kind of clicks into place in a twisted way. See, the Kardashians have close ties to Lou Taylor, the same woman behind Britney Spears' conservatorship mess, and Lou runs TriStar Sports, an entertainment group, and she's known for being pretty ruthless when it comes to handling her clients. So if you're wondering how Kris fits into this, well, let me break it down. Remember that church that Kris Jenner set up, I told you about earlier. Well, at first people thought it was just a sneaky way for the Kardashians to score some nice tax breaks. But it turns out there's more to the story. Apparently Lil Taylor, the same woman tied to Britney's conservatorship, is actually on the church's board, and get this, there are rumors that Diddy's been making big donations to that church, which some say were used to quietly settle with his alleged victims over the years. On the surface, it might seem like the church is simply doing some charity work, but the reality is far more sinister. 24 hours before the raid, Kim Kardashian decides to unfollow Diddy. Right, well, come to find out this person by the name of Lil Taylor is apparently
24 hours before the raid, Kim Kardashian decides to unfollow Diddy, right? Well, come to find out, this person by the name of Lil Taylor is apparently Diddy's manager. And this Lil Taylor woman is also on the board of Hillsong's church home. Follow me, go with me. They are doing all of this, child, in the name of the Lord. Just follow the story. Now, to cover myself, everything in this video is alleged, honey. This is what I digged up, and I don't know how much truth is to it, but there's reportings, okay? So everything that I'm saying is allegedly. Keep that in mind. So, Lil Taylor apparently is paying off, allegedly, some of Diddy's victims from this slush fund through some church fund, okay? Not only that, Kim Kardashian mama has been making these girls pay 10% tithes to some church that Lil Taylor and her husband is basically owner, co-owner, or whatever. So I was like, let me look into this Lil Taylor person. I'm thinking Lil Taylor was a guy who was a woman with a husband, whole husband, and they doing ministry and everything. Now, mind you, y'all remember the whole thing with Britney Spears? So come to find out, Lil Taylor, this gets deep, y'all, hold on. Okay, so Lil Taylor is the CEO of TriStar Sports and Entertainment. She's like a business manager icon. Now, Mike, do y'all know the Lohans? What's the Lindsay Lohan? So she apparently, allegedly, she has been behind most of these stars' conservatorship situations, especially Britney Spears. So before we talk about Britney, Mike Lohan, which is the Lohan girl, Lindsay Lohan's daddy, accused Lil Taylor and the mama Dina Lohan for trying to put Lindsay Lohan in a conservatorship concerning her money. Also, allegedly, there's a lawsuit from 2021 with Astroworld tragedy, and she's being sued for employment discrimination. This is what this Lou lady is. Now, Lou Associates maintain intense control also over Britney Spears' life and money. And she was behind even the conservatorship of why Britney Spears had that conservatorship, because she ended up becoming the business manager and took over the financial pieces of Britney Spears' whole situation.
This would explain how he might have caught the eye of Diddy, because y'all know Diddy has been exposed for getting very freaky with these men's. And the freak-offs, there have been rumors that Corey was involved in gay adult films and got connected with some celebrities that way, and Diddy included. And honestly, with all the alleged stuff going out there about Diddy, I'm not even going to get into all that mess. But as for how Corey actually met Diddy, it's kind of unclear, but some say Forth Bentley, Diddy's former assistant and stylist, might have been Plug. Farnsworth and Corey went to Morehouse around the same time, so people think that's how they met. But later Farnsworth supposedly introduced Corey to Diddy. Well, somewhere down the line Corey moved from Diddy to Kris, and they had been together for 10 years. The relationship was kind of rocky at the start because Kris and the kids and Kanye didn't trust Corey, and Kanye, being Kanye, call out on his BS all the time. Kanye texts Corey something really rude. Kanye was like, I think it's weird, like we've never met his family. That's weird. I mean, of course, we've all felt that way and thought that, but for Kanye to just so bluntly say that to him, I feel like that was the wrong choice to make at that time. You guys sit and talk to Kanye, and if you talk to Kanye, he's going to put that up here and run with it weird. I'm not saying that. We're all different. How about you used to be weird, we all with each other. But for some reason, Kris never seemed fazed by Corey's shady history and pretty much brushed off her kids' worries about him back. Then it felt kind of strange how calm and unbothered she was. But now looking back with everything we know now, it makes more sense that she probably wasn't worried because Diddy had already sold her on Corey's sketchy past from this jump, and when you add in Kanye's claims about Kris being Diddy's fixer, well, it kind of makes sense, y'all. This is a crazy twisted tale, but drop your thoughts in comments below and then check out this next video.